Once upon a time, in a kingdom far away, there lived a princess whose beauty was matched only by her wit and mischief. Her laughter echoed through the halls of the palace, and suitors from distant lands flocked to her doorstep, eager to win her hand in marriage. But little did they know, the princess had a mischievous streak as wide as the kingdom itself. As the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a golden glow over the palace grounds, the princess sat upon her throne, adorned in silken robes and a crown of shimmering jewels. Suitors lined up before her, each one professing his undying love and devotion. But the princess merely smiled and waved them away with a flick of her hand. Their sweet words fell upon deaf ears, as she amused herself by poking fun at their grand gestures and flowery declarations. Despite their best efforts, none of the princes could capture the heart of the princess. She laughed at their attempts to woo her, finding amusement in their futile endeavors. But little did she know, fate had a peculiar twist in store for her. One fateful day, as the princess frolicked in the palace gardens, she stumbled upon two tiny fleas hopping through the grass. With a mischievous gleam in her eye, she caught the unsuspecting creatures in the palm of her hand. Instead of squashing them like any ordinary person would, she had a wicked idea. The princess whisked the fleas away to a secluded chamber, where she fed them morsels of food and watched with delight as they grew larger and larger. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, until the two fleas had grown to an extraordinary size. With a devilish grin, the princess set her plan into motion. She summoned the royal butcher and demanded that the fleas be skinned, their hides carefully preserved for a special purpose. Next, she called upon the finest craftsmen in the kingdom, the shoemakers and tanners, to fashion the fleas' hides into a pair of exquisite boots. The process was painstaking and meticulous, but the craftsmen worked tirelessly under the watchful eye of the princess. With each stitch and seam, the boots took shape, their surface shimmering with an otherworldly glow. Finally, after months of labor, the boots were complete, a testament to the princess's ingenuity and mischief. As word spread throughout the kingdom of the princess's peculiar boots, suitors once again flocked to her palace, eager to unravel the mystery of their origin. But try as they might, none could guess the secret hidden within the fine leather. Little did they know, the answer lay in the palm of the princess's hand all along. A pair of humble fleas, transformed into a symbol of her wit and cunning. And as the princess danced through the palace halls in her enchanted boots, she couldn't help but laugh at the irony of it all. For in a kingdom where love was often sought but rarely found, it was the humble fleas that held the key to her heart. In the kingdom where the mischievous princess reigned, whispers of her latest pranks spread like wildfire. With a twinkle in her eye and mischief in her heart, she proclaimed to all who would listen that she would marry the man who could guess the origin of her peculiar boots. Suitors from far and wide flocked to the palace, their hearts brimming with hope and determination. Each one entered the grand hall, their eyes fixed on the princess's boots, eager to unravel the mystery. But try as they might, not a single suitor could guess the secret hidden within the fine leather. One by one, they ventured their guesses, each more outlandish than the last. Some claimed the boots were made from the hides of lions, while others insisted they were crafted from the scales of mythical creatures. But with each incorrect guess, the princess's laughter echoed through the palace, mocking their futile attempts. Among the throng of suitors stood a prince, his gaze lingering on the princess with a mixture of admiration and longing. Though he too had been mocked by the princess for his boldness, he remained undeterred, determined to win her heart. In a daring move, the prince disguised himself as a beggar, clad in tattered rags and a worn cloak. With careful steps, he made his way to the palace gates, his heart pounding with anticipation. Drawing closer to the princess's chamber, he overheard her conversation with her maid, discussing the origin of the boots.
As he listened intently, a flicker of recognition crossed his face. The pieces of the puzzle fell into place, and he realized the truth behind the princess's boots. With newfound confidence, he emerged from the shadows, ready to unveil his revelation to the princess and the court. With bated breath, the prince approached the princess, his voice steady and sure. "Your Royal Highness," he began, "your boots are made from the hides of fleas." A hush fell over the grand hall as the princess's laughter subsided, replaced by a look of astonishment. For the first time, she saw the prince not as a mere suitor, but as a man of wit and intelligence. Though the court gasped in disbelief, the prince's words rang true. With a smile of admiration, the princess acknowledged his insight, her heart stirred by his boldness and cunning. In that moment, the prince's disguise fell away, revealing the nobleman beneath. And as he stood before the princess, his eyes filled with determination and longing, she knew that her heart had found its match. With laughter and joy, the court celebrated the union of the prince and the princess, their love a testament to the power of wit and wisdom. And as they danced beneath the starlit sky, the princess knew that she had finally found her true companion, her heart forever intertwined with his. In the kingdom where the mischievous princess reigned, a hush fell over the grand hall as the beggar prince's revelation hung in the air. With eyes wide with disbelief, the princess stared at the prince, her heart racing with anticipation. Could it be true? Could this beggar, who had once been the object of her mockery, hold the key to the mystery of her boots? As the silence stretched on, the prince stood tall and unwavering, his gaze locked with hers. With a trembling voice, he repeated his proclamation, "Your Royal Highness, your boots are made from the hides of fleas." And in that moment, the truth dawned on the princess, her laughter giving way to awe and admiration. With a gasp of disbelief, the princess watched as the prince's words were confirmed, the shimmering surface of her boots betraying their humble origin. A wave of realization washed over her, and she saw the prince not as a beggar, but as a man of insight and intelligence. In that moment, her heart swelled with a newfound respect for him, her admiration eclipsing any doubts or reservations. As the court erupted into murmurs of disbelief, the princess felt a sense of humility wash over her. For the first time, she saw herself not as a princess, but as a mere mortal, humbled by the prince's wisdom and understanding. With a trembling hand, she reached out to him, her eyes filled with gratitude and admiration. With a smile of acceptance, the prince took her hand in his touch sending shivers down her spine. And in that moment, they knew that their destinies were intertwined, their hearts forever bound by the threads of fate. As days turned into weeks, the princess and the prince embarked on a journey unlike any other, leaving behind the comforts of the palace for a life of simplicity and humility. In a small hut on the outskirts of the kingdom, they toiled side by side, their hands calloused and their hearts full of love. Gone were the lavish banquets and grand ceremonies, replaced instead by simple meals shared by firelight. And yet, amidst the hardships of their new life, the princess found a sense of peace and contentment she had never known before. For in the eyes of the prince, she saw a reflection of her own humanity, a reminder that true happiness lay not in wealth or luxury, but in the bonds of love and companionship. As they watched the sun set on another day, the princess felt a sense of gratitude wash over her, her heart overflowing with love for the prince by her side. And in that moment, she knew that she had found her true companion, her soulmate, her equal. With a smile of understanding, the prince took her hand in his touch gentle and reassuring. And as they stood together beneath the starlit sky, they knew that their journey was far from over. For in each other's arms, they had found a love that would withstand the test of time, a love that would carry them through the trials and tribulations of life. And so, hand in hand, they walked into the future, their hearts united in a bond that could never be broken. For in the end, it was not wealth or status that defined their love, but the mutual respect and understanding that blossomed between them, a love that would endure for all eternity.